For decades, Western Europe lectured Poland on the rules of the new Europe. They preached post-history, demilitarization, and economic partnership with Russia. Warsaw knew better. Now, as the old order collapses, the student has become the master, and Poland's strategic foresight is the only thing standing between Europe and the abyss. February 24th, 2022. Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine. Berlin froze. Paris hesitated. London scrambled for a response. The European security order, built on the belief that major wars belong to history books, shattered overnight. But not in Warsaw. Poland had been screaming the warning for 2 decades. While Germany signed pipeline deals with Moscow and France sold warships to the Kremlin, Polish diplomats stood in Brussels conference rooms and said the same thing over and over. Russia is a threat. Russia will strike. Russia never stopped being the enemy. They were ignored, dismissed as paranoid, lectured about moving beyond Cold War thinking. Here's the thing. Poland never forgot what Western Europe chose to forget. Geography doesn't lie. When you share an 800-kilometer border with a revanchist empire, you don't get the luxury of pretending history ended. You don't get to outsource your security to cheap gas and wishful thinking. Warsaw made a choice in 1999 when it joined NATO. That choice wasn't symbolic, it was existential. The alliance, anchored by American power, became the central pillar of Polish security strategy. Not European goodwill, not trade agreements, hard power, collective defense. Article 5. While Berlin built Nord Stream and Paris chased strategic autonomy from Washington, Poland doubled down on the transatlantic bond. It hosted American troops, bought American weapons, trained with American forces. Every single year, Germany called it American vassalage. Poland called it survival. And when the invasion came, Poland was ready. Not scrambling, not debating, ready. The German defense minister admitted his military could barely sustain a brigade. The French were bogged down in Africa. The British were cutting troop numbers. Poland had been building its forces for a decade, modernizing equipment, expanding personnel, stockpiling ammunition. Because Warsaw understood something its Western partners refused to accept. Deterrence isn't a speech. It's divisions. It's tanks. It's the credible threat that crossing your border means war. The old European consensus that soft power and economic interdependence would tame authoritarian states died in the rubble of Mariupol. Poland had buried that illusion years earlier. Now the rest of Europe is waking up, late, slow, scrambling to rearm with defense industries that atrophied during the peace dividend decades. Poland is already 3 steps ahead. Let's talk numbers. Real numbers. Poland's defense budget in 2014, 7.7 billion euros. Poland's defense budget in 2024, 23.4 billion euros. That's not incremental growth. That's a tripling in a single decade. 4.12% of GDP, the highest defense spending ratio in NATO, higher than the United States, higher than anyone. Germany finally pledged to hit 2%, eventually. France hovers around 2% when you count pensions. Britain cut and cut and cut, and now promises to rebuild. Poland went straight to 4, and it's not stopping. The Polish armed forces numbered 99,000 active personnel in 2014. Today, 216,000, more than doubled, and the government announced plans to expand further. targeting 300,000 within 5 years. Compare that to Germany. The Bundeswehr has been stuck at around 180,000 for years. Recruitment struggles, equipment shortages, readiness scandals. Poland is building the third largest military in Europe. Only France and Turkey will have more troops, but Turkey isn't buying what Poland is buying. New main battle tanks, advanced air defense systems, fifth-generation fighters, long-range rocket artillery, naval expansion. Poland placed the largest arms orders in European history, contracts worth tens of billions. Korean K-2 tanks, American Abrams, HIMARS launchers, Patriot batteries, F-35 fighters. This isn't a modernization program. This is a force designed to fight and win a high-intensity conflict. Western Europe is still debating procurement timelines. Poland is taking delivery. The contrast is stark. Europe is splitting into two speeds, and Poland is leaving the old powers behind. France talks about strategic autonomy, but can't project power without American logistics. Germany announces a €100 billion defense fund, but can't get it out the door. Britain brags about experience, but its army is smaller than Poland's and shrinking. Meanwhile, Poland trains relentlessly, joint exercises with American forces, rotational brigades from allied nations stationed on Polish soil, live-fire drills in the east. Every exercise has the same unspoken scenario: Russian aggression, the Suwalki Gap, rapid reinforcement, defense of the eastern flank. Western Europe spent 30 years conducting peacekeeping missions and counterinsurgency operations. Poland spent 30 years preparing to stop a mechanized invasion. Guess which skill set matters now? The Polish defense industry is booming. Domestic production, ammunition plants, maintenance hubs. Warsaw isn't just buying foreign systems, it's building an indigenous defense base. Germany's defense industry, strangled by regulation and underinvestment. France's, exporting abroad while the French military waits in line. Poland learned the lesson of dependence. You can't deter with weapons you don't have. You can't defend with forces that aren't ready. You can't count on allies who treat security as optional. So Poland built the capability itself. And every tank, every missile, every soldier shifts the balance of power. Western Europe is slowly realizing what Poland already knows. You either have a military that can fight, or you have a military that watches. The strategic center of Europe is no longer Berlin, it's Warsaw. That's not Polish propaganda. That's analysis from defense institutes across the continent. One French think tank declared Warsaw the capital of European security in 2025. The German press calls Poland the linchpin of NATO's eastern flank. American officials refer to Poland as the indispensable ally in Central Europe. Geography created this reality. Poland sits at the junction. To the west, Germany, the old heart of Europe. To the east, Belarus, a Russian satellite, and Ukraine, the active war zone. Every ton of military aid flowing to Ukraine passes through Poland. Every NATO reinforcement heading east deploys through Polish infrastructure. Every strategic decision about the front line involves Polish input. Poland didn't just prepare for this moment, it positioned itself to lead it. Take the 3 Seas initiative. Launched in 2016, it connects 12 Central and Eastern European nations from the Baltic to the Adriatic to the Black Sea. Energy corridors, transport links, digital infrastructure. It's a power block. And Poland is the anchor. Western Europe dismissed it as a side project. Now, it's a counterweight. These 12 nations represent over 100 million people and the fastest-growing markets in Europe. They share a common strategic interest, limiting Russian influence and reducing dependence on Western European gatekeepers. Poland turned geography into leverage. On energy, Poland moved faster than anyone. After Russia cut gas supplies, Western Europe panicked. Poland had already diversified. Liquefied natural gas terminals on the coast, pipelines from Norway, interconnectors to neighbors. Germany went into recession when Russian gas stopped. Poland kept growing. On Ukraine, Poland became the logistics hub. Arms, ammunition, humanitarian aid. Everything moved through Polish roads and railways. The Rzeszów airport became the busiest cargo hub in Europe. Polish intelligence cooperation with Kiev is seamless. Berlin worried about escalation. Paris hedged its bets. Warsaw committed everything, and Kiev knows who its real ally is. Inside the European Union, Poland's influence is rising. For years, Brussels and Warsaw clashed over rule of law and judicial reforms. But geopolitics changes everything. When security dominates the agenda, Poland holds the cards. Eastern EU members look to Warsaw, not Berlin, for leadership. Southern members need Polish support for migration policy. Northern members rely on Polish defense capacity. France and Germany still have bigger economies, but economic size doesn't win wars or secure borders. Readiness does, commitment does, strategic clarity does. Poland has all three. NATO's command structures are shifting east, more headquarters in Poland, more exercises, more permanent rotations. The alliance's center of gravity is moving toward the threat. And the threat is exactly where Poland always said it was. Poland is one of the fastest growing economies in Europe. Not in the East, not among new members, in Europe. Full stop. Over the past decade, Polish GDP growth consistently outpaced the Western European average. While Germany stagnated, France struggled with strikes, and Britain navigated Brexit chaos, Poland powered forward. The numbers are undeniable. Poland is now the fifth largest EU economy by population. Its industrial base is expanding, its tech sector is booming. Foreign investment floods in. Remember the stereotype? The Polish plumber, the migrant worker heading west for low-wage jobs, the punchline of Western European jokes about Eastern enlargement. That narrative is dead. Today, Poland is the destination. Factories relocate from Germany to Poland for skilled labor and better logistics. Tech companies open offices in Warsaw and Krakow. Ukrainian refugees integrate into the labor market, filling gaps and fueling growth. Western Europe is contracting. Deindustrialization, aging populations, sclerotic bureaucracy, political paralysis. Poland is expanding. Investment, infrastructure, ambition. Germany, the economic engine of Europe for decades, is sputtering. Energy costs skyrocketed. Industrial giants like BASF and Volkswagen announced layoffs and closures. The vaunted Mittelstand struggles to compete. Poland's manufacturing sector grew 20% over 5 years. Germany's shrank. France is locked in perpetual social conflict. Pension reforms trigger nationwide strikes. The government survives votes of no confidence by margins so thin they barely count as victories. Investment flees uncertainty. Poland's government, whatever its faults, maintains economic stability. Growth continues. Unemployment stays low. Britain? Brexit shattered trade links and crippled investment. The UK economy is smaller now than it was in 2019. Growth projections are dismal. The pound is weak. London's status as Europe's financial hub erodes daily. Poland joined the EU in 2004 as a poor cousin. Today, Polish GDP per capita is closing the gap with Western Europe at a pace that terrifies traditionalists in Brussels. Because here's the uncomfortable truth for the old powers. Poland's rise isn't happening in spite of Western Europe's decline. It's happening because of it. Investment that once went to Germany now goes to Poland. Supply chains that relied on French production now shift east. Workers who once migrated west for jobs now stay home or return. The economic architecture of Europe is rebalancing, and Poland is the primary beneficiary. Energy independence accelerates this shift. Poland built LNG capacity while Germany chained itself to Russian gas. When the war came, German industry paid the price. Polish industry kept running. Poland's ports are expanding. Gdansk is a major Baltic hub. New rail connections link Poland to Asian markets via the Belt and Road corridors. Without full dependence on China, infrastructure investment is relentless. Highways, high-speed rail, digital networks. Poland is building the backbone of a 21st century economy, while Western Europe argues about austerity and debt. The old joke was that Poland sent workers west. The new reality is that Poland is becoming the workshop, the warehouse, and the command center for a continent that forgot how to build. This is not a temporary shift. This is the new architecture of European power. Poland's strategic foresight, military buildup, economic momentum, and geographic centrality have converged into something unprecedented. A Central European state dictating terms to the continent's old powers. For centuries, Poland was the battleground, divided, occupied, erased from maps. It survived through resilience, but rarely through strength. That era is over. Today,